This is Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA, and to kickstart our conversation, which is on the 2024 Nupe Day, let's see this background report pulled together by our correspondent Joseph Otsen.
The Nupe Day is a traditional and cultural celebration of the Nupe community in north-central Nigeria. It is an annual event marked on the 26th of June to preserve the declining rich cultural heritage of the Nupe people and prevent the language from extinction. In line with these, programs lined up include lecture series on Nupe history, culture, and development, merit awards, agric and craft exhibitions, Doba, sporting activities, the banning of deserving individuals, among other competitions. The choice of June 26th is of immense historical significance to the Nupe history. It was a day in 1869 which saw the defeat of invading British army in the hands of Nupe cavalry at Ogidi, the present-day Kogi state, halting the British army from advancing the entire present northern Nigeria. The celebration started in 2009 and is gradually and steadily distinguishing itself as one of the foremost festivals in Nigeria, attracting sons and daughters of Nupe and tourists around the world. For many, Nupe land is gradually witnessing a cultural rebirth and even a renaissance of some sort with the annual event. Beyond the cultural renaissance and unity, there seems to be conscious efforts and interests from the youth, not just to learn the Nupe language, but also identify with their history and proud of it. It's about 15 years down the line, but how much has this festival really preserved the Nupe culture and tradition? Has the community and the country taken advantage of it to boost tourism and the nation's economy? Guests on Good Morning Nigeria will shed light on these prospects soon.
Right, thank you, Joseph Otsen, for that background report. And joining us to discuss the 2024 Nupe Day. Let me introduce here in the studio a son of the soil, Alhaji Yusuf Yabagisani, Jakada Nupe, and former chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. A pleasure to welcome you as always on Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, I've also been joined here by Honorable Babashe Wage, Wakili Age. Thank you for coming on the program.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, okay.
All right, still joining us for the conversation, we have Honorable Fati Abubakar Gimbia Badegi. Thank you for joining us, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
You look beautiful, like the colors.
Thank you.
All right, and also for the conversation, we have joining us via Zoom His Royal Highness Alhaji Mohammed Kudu Kawu, the Emir of Lafiagi. Many thanks.
Good morning, viewers and listeners. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right. Let's begin this conversation. Perhaps I should begin from Zoom, since we have him at the moment. Your Royal Highness, I don't know if you could, just to set us a background, briefly run us through the history of the Nupe people, the significant part, perhaps in a couple of minutes, just to set us a light on this.
Thank you very much. Well, we as Nupe people have been in existence as long as documentary evidence is available. You will find us along the banks of the River Niger in Niger, Kwara, and Kogi states. We are predominantly farmers, but we also have rich heritage in fishing, in industry, commerce, trade, and even manufacturing. So for centuries now, Nupe people have traversed the entire country, even before the coming of colonial administrators, and you'll find us actively involved in the transatlantic trade activities, Our people have traveled on the River Niger down to Onitsha, onto the Atlantic Ocean using boats for trade and commerce to Lagos. So in all of these settlements along the River Niger, down to the Atlantic Ocean, on the transatlantic trade routes, in almost every part of this country, you will find a community of Nupe people.
All right. I didn't know it would be that brief, though, but at least that gives us a sense of location where we can find the Nupe people. We will get back to you, Your Highness. Let's get here in the studio and speak with Alhaji Yabagisani. You know, I was looking for the historical significance of the Nupe Day as well. What makes it so special, you know, that we have to devote a whole day to it?
Well, thank you very much. Like His Royal Highness has said, Nupe as a tribe can be found in the beginning of the history of Nigeria, as we have it today, which informed the recognition and celebration of the Nupe Day. Because on that day, which is 26 June 1876 rather, the Nupe Cavalry defeated the British army that came as a colonial, army to, of course, colonize the entire country, but beginning with the north. So, in fact, it was that feat that retarded, the advancement of the British yes, against the Sokoto Caliphate, which is what is now today the northern Nigeria. And we thought it wise to say, okay, it isn't just to immortalize that day, which is 26 June, but to take some lessons from that feat, that Nupes, really exhibited, so that we can use that, because nobody denies his culture. Your culture is your portrait. You always want to promote your culture. So every Nupe man and woman will always be passionate about how we can promote ourselves, how we can engender unity, how we can have an occasion like Nupe Day, where all of us will come together, exchange, pleasantries, see how we can promote the economic, social, political, advancement of Nupe land. That is the essence of the Nupe Day, which we are celebrating today, really. During Nupe Day, we always have lectures. We exhibit the finest of the culture that I think exists in the whole world, which is the Nupe culture. You look at it from all perspectives, you find that we excel. If you look at the attire, it's something that you can't but admire. You look at the kind of exhibition, the kind of performances that take place during the Nupe Day. You cannot, but in fact, because of, I think, one of the fallouts, the benefit that we have gotten from this Nupe Day today is that Bida City, has been recognized by UNESCO. UNESCO has this UCC, that is the creative cities, of the world. We are among 245 cities today that have been recognized the world over, and that is to recognize the culture and the folk arts of the Nupes. We are industrious, like the Emir was saying. If you go to Nupe land today, you find blacksmiths, you find these glass, works, you find the aluminium works. We produced the clothes, and so Nupe Day has become something that not only has it benefited us, but has benefited Nigeria. Because to my knowledge, I think it's the only city in Nigeria today that has been recognized by the UNESCO. That is United Nations Education, Scientific, and Commission, of the UN. So it's a big achievement that we have gotten through this coming together of the Nupes. That's why I said it isn't just to immortalize that day, but what lessons can we take? How do we now motivate an average Nupe person that you are not just an ordinary person? Something is in you that can be used to advance the social, political, and economic advancement of Nigeria. And if you look at the contemporary history, you find Nupes we have played very, very strategic role. Take it from the political aspect. You know, the most, I think, vibrant opposition that you got, you know, and as far as politics is concerned in this country was NEPU. Abubakar Jukogi, who is also a prince of Bida, you know, was one of the founders of NEPU, alongside Mala Aminu Kano, Saad Zunguru, Mala Isa Amin. All these people came together to establish what was known, the first very vibrant, progressive opposition party in Nigeria. You know, and you find Gambo Sawaba also, who is a woman. You know, is of Nupe extraction too. You know, he is in the class of Fimilayo Ransom Kuti, Margaret Ekpo, and then those are the people in the north, from the north. You can't hear of any woman being mentioned in the contemporary history of Nigeria, you know, but Gambo Sawaba. She's of Nupe extraction. So we played our roles from the political. You look at the economic aspect of it. You look at even the performance of the Nupes in securing this country, because we served really as the bridge, you know, for this country. If you look, because Nupes, like the emir says, we are found along the riverine areas. And when you talk about the north and south, the bridge is the Nupes, because we sit at the center. And in the Nupes, you find people that you think they are Yorubas, because they speak Yoruba so fluently, like the emir, who is from Lafayagi. When you go to Lafayagi, you find Nupe speaking Yoruba and what have you. When you come to Niger, you find Nupe speaking speaking Hausa, you know, as if it's their language. When you go to Lokoja, you find Nupe speaking Igbo. And even in and then when you look at the history, in fact, you can trace, in fact, there's a book written, said Nupe the origin. Why? Tiv, the first Tiv was a Nupe man. Dabo, you hear of Dabo Kano, you know, isn't it? The settlement of the beginning of the royal, you know, institution of Kano, Dabo. Dabo was from Gulu, which is in Agaye, that is Niger State. So we really Nupes, we are the origin. If you look at what we have done in terms of the past history, the contemporary history, and look at what Etu Nupe is doing. You know, Etu Nupe is a strong figure in moving this country forward in terms of having peace. There's no gathering that you won't find Etu Nupe playing prominent role. It's because Nupes have what it takes when you want to talk about it. And look at the political formations like Alhaji Aliyu Makama, who was the founder or one of the founders or prominent founder of MPN. You know, because Alhaji Aliyu Makama was a very strong man in the First Republic. You know, he was I think Minister of Finance, you know, for the Premier, Northern Sardauna. And then you find Alhaji Shehu Musa, a very strong, you know, civil servant who served as a secretary to the government of the Federation, you know, during Shagari's administration. You can go on and on and on. We have so many sons and daughters of Nupes that have played very, very key, strong role. Jerry Gana is there, you know, as you can know. You know, he was one of the founders of PDP today, and he's still very, very strongly around. I mean, strong, you know, around. So when you are looking for people that are progressive in nature, look for a Nupe man or woman. Okay. You know, the Ajia here, Ajia Fati, she was an honorable member in the State House of Assembly. Alhaji Baba Shehu that you see here was also a honorable member in the House of Reps. In fact, he was a deputy deputy house leader, you know, in the House of Reps. So we have so many of them that have played very strong role that you can really reckon with. Say that yes, Nupes have come of age.
All right. You know. Thank you so much, Alhaji Sani, for selling the Nupe people to us. I'm sure for anyone watching, if you have a Nupe, if you have a son or a daughter, of course, you want to look at the Nupe people, you know. So, anyways, let me get to Honorable Fati Abubakar now. Alhaji Sani already told us about the caliber of people that have come out from the Nupe land. But I want you to take me through your culture and your unique customs and tradition, you know, for someone who doesn't really know much about the Nupe people. Could you just give us a bit on that?
Yeah. Good morning, Nigerians. Like my uncle has just said, the Nupe people are very unique people. We are proud. We are very bold. We are not known for fighting and chicken out like cowards. Like you can see my attire, this is what we call the Nupe Emigun. Nupe Emigun is people coming together to speak in one voice. Like we have an umbrella and an association that brings all of us together in a unique manner. That association is called the Nupe Foundation. And this is where you can find the Nupe showcasing our rich heritage. We have a very rich culture that in the whole of this country, I don't think anybody has rich as our culture is, because each time we are going out, we go out colorfully in our beautiful attires. I don't know how to, you can see the 3 colors in our attires: red, green, blue. Everybody knows what the red stands for. The green is known for strengthness, boldness, the red too, and then the green too. And in the history of this country, the Nupe people cannot be, written aside, even though there hasn't been much political will from government. But I know Nupe people have played a significant role, both politically, economically, and culturally. We have reshaped the language of this country, because everywhere in the whole of this country, Nupe people are there, they are domiciled there. Like he just mentioned that when you see Nupe people speaking Yoruba, you think they are Yoruba. They are Nupes. Even in Lagos, Ilorin, everywhere named them, there are Nupe people. They are Nupe people. And then our culture, Nupe people are also known for their respect, their humility, their humbleness. You cannot take this away from the Nupe woman or the Nupe man. When you see him, the first thing you see is that respect, that discipline. We respect our elders. We respect whoever respect is supposed to be given to. We do respect them. That is the Nupe culture for you.
Tell us a bit about your music, your food, the way your women behave.
Literature too.
All of that.
Like for instance, because of this, the celebration of this 26th June, the Nupe Day, like we're doing today, the Nupe people, especially the women, in every family now, once there is wedding, there is what we call the Nupe Day, the celebration of the Nupe Day. And in this celebration, we come out in our uniforms, in this our attire, and then you find our local foods. We hardly bring any food that is not made from the Nupes. Like we have what we call Bambara, that is the local akara. And then we have this two AJE, that is the local maize food that is made by our own people, because we are predominantly farmers. So that is what we do. We have kuli kuli, the famous kuli kuli that has been known. We even export kuli kuli now. Those are the things that we do during our weddings. And there's no way you can see a Nupe woman. Once there is any wedding, such activity is always on the lead. That's the Nupe Day. And it's just to showcase our own cultural heritage.
I know that you were a member of the National Assembly. Yeah. Are women in the Nupe culture supposed to be seen, or are they supposed to be seen and heard? Like in some cultures, they tell you where women should take the backstage. What is it like for?
No, in the Nupe culture, courtesy of our leaders, Engineer Waiwa Isani, the likes of Professor Jerry Gana, the likes of late Justice Idris Lebokuti of blessed memory, and then our father now, the Emir. Such things used to be there in the past. But now, because of the enlightenment and then our coming together, the linkages between all other languages cut across, they have been able to remove this. I'm sure you're aware that one of us was just a senator, Senator Zainab Kuri. She's a woman. If those factors were there, she wouldn't have been a senator, because you cannot be a senator by just being heard and not seen. You have to go for campaign, you have to participate in all the other political activities. So such things used to be there before because of the religious factor. But I'm sure with the enlightenment coming up now, such factors are being taken aside, and the women are allowed, we are seen, we are heard. That's why I'm here now. Suppose we are not seen and heard, I wouldn't have been here. Maybe I would be there doing what we call pudan. That is kule. The women are not even seen, their faces are not even shown. But now such factors have been, the enlightenment has been able to bring down some of these things. We participate fully in politics and other things.
All right, thank you very much. I must say you have very beautiful culture there. But let me engage the Honorable now. I don't know, with all of this that you have, the language, culture, the food, the things that you make, the produce your dance and all of those, how have you managed through the years and through generations to, get this from one generation to another? How have you managed to preserve all of this, customs and traditions?
Thank you very much. Your question is about the history of Nupe Enclave. And if we could give a reference to where we started. You see, Twede Edegi, the so-called Edegi, with the basement of Nupe, started from Ida, which is Kogi now, and across the river line up north. So from Kogi up to KB, the riverine banks you see Nupe speaking. And your question is how we started to expand.
No, my question actually is how you have managed to preserve your customs and traditions through the years and generations.
That is what I'm coming to. After the liberation of Twede Edegi, who stayed at Bararaba as a center, that is in Mokwa local government in Niger State. The man started his activities, liberating all the people by the river bank, gives them the tradition and the culture enclave to be popular as Nupe. And the learned ones define Nupe as national unity or political employees, public employees. So by this, they try to moderate what does this enshrine. And there, the industrial aspect of Nupe Enclave came in. Most of us were fishermen. Most of us were farmers. Most of us were goldsmiths, and call it. And through all this, we were able to adopt a system of how we look alike as Nupe speaking enclave.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Agai. Let's get to Alhaji Mohammed Kudu Kawu now, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Lafiagi. I hope he's still with us. If the Emir is still with us, I'd like him to also educate us a bit about the traditional stool of the Nupe people. We want to know how do you come about, who heads a community, just tell us about the traditional stool, basically, and then the method of determining who leads a community or a group of people and all of that.
The Nupes have had their administrative systems in place long before even the colonial administrators came. But what we have in documented history is during the Sokoto Caliphate, a lot of emirates were born in the Nupe Kingdom. Bida Emirate was established, Lafiagi Emirate was established, Agay Emirate was established, Lapai Emirate was established. So we had at least 4 active emirates that are all over 200 years, well over 200 years old. And then prior to that, the Nupes also had an administrative system that was very effective. We had tax collection systems. We had trade agreements, trade organizations. And our women men have been very industrious. If you take almost every aspect that we Nupes operate in, you will find rich history there. Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right. If you take fishing, for example, for centuries, we had our fishermen, and we had the transport used to be by the river Niger into the Atlantic Ocean to the southwest, covering Lagos, Ibadan. And our people were taking woven materials at that time. They were taking fish, they were taking sorghum, they were taking rice, right from the Nupe land, across the River Niger, all the way to the West African coast. And then they were also buying other things that were needed in Nupe land, like cola nuts, salt, and they were bringing it to Nupe land. This trade has centuries. And they were administered by leaders and emirs at that time. So the emirs and the leaders that we call Esu in the local dialect have always managed the administration of the towns that are in Nupe land, and this has transferred successfully over time. Each period has come, which is natural, with its challenges, and the leadership would have to evolve to align with the time that it's operating with. But we have had very strong
All right, thank you so much, His Royal Highness Alhaji Mohammed Kudu Kawu. Of course, we hope the connection will get better. Would get back to you. But for now, we have our colleague. She's actually on the street, taking a walk with members of the NIPR. The NIPR is, of course, celebrating the 60th anniversary, and today is they're having a walk. Maybe Claire would tell us exactly what is going on and why NIPR is engaging in this walk. Claire, good morning to you. Where exactly are you and what's happening?
Hello, Inre. Thank you. I'm actually at the Diplomats Parks and Garden, just behind the Area 1 shopping complex in Gariki. And of course, like you rightly said, it's the 60th diamond anniversary of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. And I tell you, it's not just a celebration of milestone. It's the acknowledgement of the power using communication to shape our society. And members have come from different parts of the country. Also, outside the country, we have the president of the Global Alliance that will also be joining us in a short while. But if you look around, if you look just behind me, you see that there's a riot of, colors. And we has then floats, energetic dancers, and of course, a mix of music. Right now, we're just getting ready to warm up, and you'll see the men and women here in different colors. Of course, you see green, red, and these are the colors of the NIPR. And just to tell you that the NIPR is 60 years. Actually, it was 60 years in 2023. And as you know, whoever that is practicing public relations or any sort of communication, and if you're not a member of the NIPR, you know what it means, Henry, that will be an illegality. So today is electrifying for me. I'm excited to be part of this. And I can tell you that the Executive Director News is also here. And Auntie Moji, as we call her, that's Mojima Kojuola, it's also here. The General Manager of NTA News 24 is here. The NTA family is here. Nawaj is here. The Vice President of NIPR is here. Everybody in the field of communication. But let me just talk to one or two persons. Yes, Auntie Moji, yes. How do you feel to be part of this?
I'm excited about this, and I know that this is what the country needs. We're about rebranding, narratives are changing, and the fact that NIPR is in the midst of this, knowing that for moving forward as Nigerians, this is what we need, and you can of Nigerians here, men, women, very inclusive.
Thank you. Of course, you heard from Auntie Moji Makojuola, but I also have a very big fish here. She's the right of the Chukwemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University, and she's come all the way from the southeast to witness this grand occasion. How do you feel?
Excited. I feel excited. I can feel the excitement too in you. I can see it in the air. NIPR is 60. 60 years of professionalism, 60 years of excellence. And we're here to tell the world that NIPR is where to go.
Okay, just if you can give me some few minutes, I also want to talk to the registrar. This is the registrar of the NIPR. Registrar, what does today mean for you?
It's a great day for the Institute and members of the Institute, and we're moving higher to make Nigeria a great country. Thank you.
Okay, I want to see if I can get the EDN. He's somewhere inside. If I can find him. Of course, I almost forgot. You see him?
Well,
Kudu Abubakar. Doctor, I'm sorry.
Don't say sorry, but it's nice being here. I've forgotten one last. I'm in a T-shirt and dressed like this, but because of NIPR, we're here, and we are saying boldly, NIPR.
Okay, studio, just one more moment. I'm trying to see if I can get. Okay, I think I don't know if camera can catch me. Camera, can you see me? I'm seeing the EDN. The Executive Direction News is here. EDN, what does this mean for you? Can we come to the front?
Day for public relations practitioners here.
Yes.
Marking our 60th anniversary. You know, it's a great day. The old and the young here coming to unity. And we thank God for this day, and we hope that great for media practitioners all over the world.
Thank you, EDN. Thank you. with your executive. All right, studio. I think I just stop a bit for now, but just to tell you that we also have security men here with us. We have 2 ambulances, and it's going to be electrifying.
Claire, just a moment, Claire. Don't go yet. I was going to ask that what you're doing is actually like a stand. When are you going to do the actual work?
We should have started by now, actually, but we wanted to do some exercises and get fit. You know, for people like me, I need the exercises. But I miss somebody, the council member. Yes, council member is here. Council member. Today is a grand day for the NIPR family.
It is a great day. It's a wonderful day. I'm elated. NIPR is 60.
NIPR. NIPR. Back to you, studio.
Claire, I like the way you look, and I like the way, everybody there is looking. Of course, very energetic. But I can see that the crop of the NIPR members there are the elderly ones. What will be your message to the younger ones who are not joining this walk, and who, some people who are not yet members, who intend to be members, and those who just joined? I mean, what's the message really for the younger ones?
No, Inre, we actually have the NIPR Young Professional Forum, and they are right here. It's just that I cannot take you at the rear end. If you can see, if the camera can, if you can just move. Young lady, can you come up? All the young men, can you show your face? All the young ones, show your face. You see, say hi. All the young.
On our behalves, because we can't make it. Just do a little more.
All right, thank you so much, Claire. Beautiful to see. I just wish that we could have a special edition of Good Morning Nigeria where we have Jean and T-shirt coming to present. I mean, Claire looking so good and young.
And to think that GMN is 10 this year.
Anyways, let's get back to Nupe Day, and of course that's like our main topic today. We still have our guests very much with us. We apologize for that break. We had to join our colleague. By the way, you saw the EDN there, so you know why we had to join. Okay, now let's get to you, Alhaji Sani. We've laid the foundation about the Nupe culture, the Nupe people, and all of that. But I want you to speak to us about the challenges that the Nupe people face. In terms of cultural preservation, economic empowerment, political representation, gender, and all of that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Like I told you, we have been recognized as the creative city of the world by UNESCO. And that means what we are doing since 16 years ago has really paid off. What have we done? We've been very creative about it. We brought to the limelight the costume of the Nupes, which is now the identity of the Nupes. So you must have an identity if you really want to compete effectively in a cosmopolitan, multicultural, country like Nigeria or even in the world. That's why we had to promote this to the level where it is today, that when you see an average, like Honorable Fati said, these three colors are actually define us, define us along the lines that even Nadel, of the Black Bazdan, they define the Nupes. He said they are great fishermen. Great fishermen means that you have the blue, like His Royal Highness, the Emir of Lafayette said, that we are found along the riverine areas. So we are great fishermen. That has been settled long time ago. We are also great farmers. That's why we have the green here. And we are industrials and fighters, like she said. That's why you have the right. So that's why we brought these three colors to the world. That so an average Nupe man, once you see him with this, he's telling you who he is. I'm a great fisherman, I'm a great farmer, I'm a great fighter.
We can also say that red stands for danger.
Well, in a different understanding. And then what did we do again to make us to become creative is that we created Nupe Foundation. Nupe Foundation is an organization that is found wherever you find Nupe settlement. It has its chapter there, Nupe Foundation, so that we all come together to discuss, like you said, our political, socio-economic, progress and things like that. So that's number two. Number three, we also established what we call the Nupe Cultural Center. There's a building now that has been established that will house our artifacts, our culture, our tradition, so that when you visit Nupe land, it will take you to like a museum, so to speak. We have established that. You ask how have we been able to preserve, all these things. Yeah, that's why we have that foundation. Place there. Yeah, foundation there. The foundation and also the museum, if I want to, so that people can understand exactly what I'm talking about. We've established that. So making three. Number four, we also established what we call Nupe Cultural Anthem. When we sing the anthem, there's no way you will not find yourself standing up and then really.
But perhaps we should try that.
Yeah, we will. I don't know why you didn't bring it. Nupe, oh, So that's how it goes. We try to bring the essence of all these three things I've said in the Nupe man, that we should come together, we should praise God, we should exhibit who we are. That is the cultural anthem. So like I've told you, we have an organization, we have a museum where we preserve, like you said, we have an anthem that brings us together, and then we have the Nupe Day to showcase the finest culture that I'm sure exists in the world.
So you do not face any challenges as a people?
No, the challenges, you have to institutionalize. How do you solve those challenges? So the challenge of identity, we brought this out. Challenge of organization, we established the Nupe Foundation. The challenge of people uniting, we now bring what we call the Nupe Anthem, so that people will sing it, and then all it talks about is like when you sing the national anthem of Nigeria, it's espousing in you, who you are and why you should serve your land, and things. That's what we also have in the Nupe Cultural Anthem.
What about the challenges of economic empowerment and political representation?
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
Well, how you deal with that is to organize. That's why we have the Nupe Foundation. And it has worked in areas that really it has. That's why you will find that in Nupe land, you will find us to be more homogeneous, so to speak. And like Honorable Ashe was saying, that we speak, in one voice, And how do you do that? We have to create that organization, which we call the Nupe Foundation, so that the encumbrances of the culture, of the traditional institution, we will now be able to overcome those things, because people are coming together, without we obliterate all those boundaries that have been created, like we were found in Kwara State, we are found in Niger State, we are found in Kogi State, we are found in part of, FCT. So unless we create this organization that can bring us together, regardless of whether you are from Kwara, you are from this place and that place, we will not have been able to do what you are saying. So, and in terms of the political emancipation of the Nupes. And the economic progress of the Nupes, during Nupe Day, we always have lectures where we talk to ourselves, we look at what have we done, for ourselves. So we have been creative, in
addressing the challenges. But how have you had a challenge with the younger generation? Because in some cultures and tribes, they're losing touch. The younger ones are losing touch with their culture and tradition. That there seems to be a gap. Some will say, well, the Gen Zs do not want to, align with the culture and tradition of their people. Are you having that as a people? And then how do you intend to address that challenge too?
No, you see, to address that challenge, that's why we have the organization. The organization, of course, has its own youth, chapters where the youth come together and they sit down and discuss about the problems. And the fact of the matter is that you cannot but allow the youth to have their own space because it's their space, So definitely, like you discover when you run elections, most people that you find coming out in terms of the voting population, almost 70% of them are youth. So you can't but allow youth to have a breathing space that is for them to express themselves by way of representation. And you will find them. Look at our governor, former governor, Morubago. Honorable Fati talked about humility of Nupe man, respect. And you can see, people were even thinking, getting it wrong, that when he went and then he kind of the ballet in front of Tinubu, they thought it was weakness. No, that is us, And you will find him, when he meets the emirs, he also, give them due respect, he bow down for them and all these things. So that's how we should be. We should respect constitutional authority. We should honor our traditional institutions because they are representing us. So you can't find what you find happening in other climes, other states. I won't mention any state, but you know what I'm talking about. Challenging their emirs, bringing them to distribute and things like that. No. That cannot happen where a Nupe man is in the saddle. It cannot happen because our makeup is to recognize and honor, a constitutional authority.
Okay. Alhaji Sani, thank you very much for the enlightenment. Let me engage Honorable Fati once more. I don't know how you get, the challenges you have with preserving your culture, your customs, and if there's a role in it for government at every level. I mean, Niger State is predominantly Nupe.
Yeah. Well, let me quickly run down through some of the challenges we're having. For instance, we need a state of our own called Edu State.
Called what?
Edu State.
Edu State, okay.
Yeah, Edu State. We also need agro-allied industries. This is to enable us to process our own rich farm produce since we're predominantly farmers. Suppose we have an industry, agricultural allied industries of our own, we'll be able to produce and
What's
sell.
the major crop from the Nupe land?
The rice.
Okay.
Yeah. We produce rice and...
even the National Syria Institute is cited in Nupe land.
Rice National Institute.
That's Institute. So to underscore the fact, what she's saying, that we should have, this processing agricultural machinery. If there's any place to cite those things, it's Nupe land because it has been recognized a long time ago.
And then we also need to link up with our other brothers and sisters from the other side of the riverine areas. And then this cannot be possible. We need these bridges to be built. Like these bridges to Nupiku, it's been there over years. If the government can come to our aid by building that bridge, we'll be able to link up easily with our other brothers from the other side of the country, Kwara, Kogi, and other places. And then talking about Barrow Port too. We need the actualization of that Barrow Port dearly, because I'm sure so many youths that are coming up now will be able to be engaged in that place meaningfully. So these are part of the challenges that
I thought the Barrow Port was already inaugurated, if I remember correctly.
On paper.
On paper. Nothing has been done.
Political inauguration.
Yes. We need that thing dearly. Because so many thousands of youths would have been engaged in that place, and the place is there languishing.
It's not only Niger State. It's the entire north,
Yes.
the entire country, actually, as a matter of fact.
We benefit
Do you,
from
have,
it.
do you also have security challenge in around
Yeah, we do
where
have.
you have?
Yeah, we
So has that affected?
not
has
much
that
in Zone
affected
A. No, we don't have much security challenge in that area. In Zone A as a whole, Alhamdulillah, I want to give glory to God. We don't have much security challenge. That is not to say we don't have, but we don't have much as recorded in other parts of the country.
But when you talk about your Edo state, given that the Nupe people are spread across several states, how do you think bringing a state of Nupe people together, how possible will it be, given the spread? Kogi, Kwara, Niger, FCT, how do you carve out the Nupe people from these places, you know, to make a state of its own, given the way it is spread? Already you have Niger, where you are majority.
Once there is the will, I'm sure you know that some years back there was serious agitation on creation of Nupe. It was initially it was Nupe. It was in Ndaduma. We were agitating for Ndaduma. Then later Edo State. What does Edo State mean? It's still talking about people living around the Riverine area. These people have come together to say we want this. It's not just about Nupes in Niger. No. It's a collective decision. So I'm sure bringing them together will not be hard once the will is there. Because the population is there.
There's a map already. There's a map of the state.
That can deal with all of
yes,
those.
you know, there's continuity. Kwara, Kogi, Niger. There's a map that joins us together. And it's not anything strange. If you go to Yoruba land, you have the Yorubas in Oshun, Lagos, Ondo, other places, but still have their different states. So, we believe...
And that one apart, from what we experienced before. Excuse me, please. And that one apart from what we experienced before, when Niger and Kwara were amalgamated. You see, some portion of Kwara came into Niger, whereby we lost some to other states. So in that scenario now, if you want to effect it, there will be check and balances within the boundary extraction.
Okay, tell us about the activities that happens on a typical Nupe Day. Give us a rundown of what happens. And then the Nupe Day, is it just celebrated in Abuja alone, or everywhere you have Nupe people? So even in Kwara, they'll be having Nupe Day today?
Outside the country, perhaps.
Outside the country. Okay, so what are the activities?
Thank you very much. The fact is Nupe Day celebration for experience. All these Nupe-speaking states, or in states like Kwara, Kogi, Niger, we used to celebrate it annually in Bida. And at that point, we are shifting from state to state. This year, maybe in Niger State, that is Bida. Next year to go to Kwara, the other time to go to Kogi. So we are rotating. Economic implications. We center it on 6 so that it will be holding a unique in the center, which is Bida. And by extraction, we are here now representing Bida. Even the emir of Bida is watching us live. And when this is happening, all the cultural formations for all the coming to the center where we are celebrating, and they give us what they have for the Nupe speaking. It didn't stop there. It has become a tourist end, having a cultural background that attracts even people outside the state, even people outside the country, to come and celebrate Nupe Day with us.
All right, let's get to the Emir, who has joined us via Zoom. Now, Alhaji Kawu, you know, the guests in the studio have been talking about, you know, the capacity of the Nupe people to be able to hold their own. If you get a state, because what we have at the moment is you have several states who can't pay minimum wage, several states that are not self-sustaining without, you know, the allocation from, you know, the center. And so if you happen to have a state of your own, the Edo state as you put it, What are the chances that you have enough commerce to sustain yourself?
Thank you very much. You know, the Nupe people are very industrious. They are very hardworking. These are our values. We are not lazy people. And history for centuries has shown that. Today, we have the largest shea butter reserve in the world is in Nupe Kingdom. It's practically untapped because we take it out of the trees and we sell. We don't process. The River Niger is passing. We have the potential of feeding this country if properly harnessed rice production. And you asked a question, what are our challenges as a people? Our women are very industrious. History has shown them. What we need is to evolve with changing times. Our agricultural methods is still agrarian. How do we improve the lot of our farmers by developing their agricultural potentials, giving them better yield, giving them better inputs, giving them more knowledge on how to get better yield from the lands that they are operating. Our Niger, the potential to, in very large quantities, not only for our consumption, but also today in Lafiagi, we have a $400 million sugar factory established. We have another one in Sunti. How do we harness this to their full potentials? Mainstream Energy is producing power for the hydro dams in Shu. We have another one being done in Zungeru. You understand? So we are not only enough power if this is harnessed, but we are exporting that power. Today, Mainstream is exporting power to Niger Republic. You understand? And then in the area of value add for our own agro produce, we don't have the factories. What we are doing today is producing raw materials and taking it out. Like Gimbia has said, if we can do the agro-based industries, it's going to improve the lot of our people. So we in Nupe land have the potentials to survive on our own. Once upon a time, we wore our clothes. We produced and sent to other locations to sell. We fed ourselves. We produced and sold to every part of Nigeria. So we produce fish, and that was more than enough for us. Today, you are talking of cattle. We have one of the largest population of cattle within the Nupe land, Niger, Kwara, and Kogi states. So the potentials are enormous. The ability for us to survive as on our own is not in doubt. What we need is the opportunities. And I'm using this opportunity to call not only on government, even the private sector. There are a lot of opportunities there. Some of our governors have started. Let's reach out to the private sector. Let's get resources and come and develop these opportunities. We don't even have to wait for state creation to start this process. We need to get our people to evolve, simply re-educating them, and also development of technology. Once we do that, we are home free in Nupe land. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emir of Lafiagi. The conversation continues. Let's take this break. Stay with us.
The federal government of...
All right, welcome back. It's still Good Morning Nigeria, live on the network service of the NTA. And our conversation is on Nupe Day, which is today. And we have Nupe sons and daughter with us in the studio to talk about the Nupe people and all that we need to know. I'd like to get to Honorable Fati Abubakar and, continue our conversation. And I want you to, speak about the marriage, of the Nupe people, and if you encourage intertribal marriages, I'm asking that maybe because of what happened yesterday, which saw a very popular Yoruba singer, getting married to an Igbo woman. And we've seen that blend, different cultures coming together and all of that. Tell us about the Nupe people. Do you encourage that? And then what are the things for someone who is interested? I talked about that earlier, that somebody may just be watching and be saying, oh well, I think I like these people and I would like my child or my daughter or my son to go that way. Tell us some things that are peculiar or that are unique about the Nupe people that you can't find it anywhere else.
Like I said earlier on, I always say times without number. Excuse me. The respect. Our traditional heritage, like I said, is very rich. And we're proud to be Nupe people, maybe because of some of these things that come with it. We're disciplined, we're humble, we give respect to whom respect is due, irrespective of who you are, whether you are Nupe or not. The Nupe child, the Nupe daughter or son will respect you. And then discipline. And then you don't find the Nupes going about, I'm sorry to say, begging. The Nupes are not beggars, probably because we are proud of who we are. You hardly see out of these beggars roaming around in the street consulting news, and you don't see a Nupe person, so you can bear that out. There's no Nupe person among such things. And then coming back to the marriage, we have a unique way, and then our intertribal marriages are encouraged. Once you're the same religion, and even when you are not the same religion, our men are allowed to marry even other religions, because it is envisaged that as they rhyme, anything can happen positively. So these are some of these things. It's not that intertribal marriages are not encouraged, but our own way of traditional marriage, we have a way, like for instance, even when the Nupe people living in diaspora, you can see that when their marriages are taking place, I'm sure you see them display their dancing steps that are very unique and special. And even the white men are always interested, because I see them joining them, dancing with them. If a girl is getting married in the Nupe land around 5:50, maybe 5:30, after the first prayer has been called, which we call Subi prayer, that is when they bring out water, chair, calabash, and the small pot, and then the lady will be seated. They call it Yao Fada. That is wedding her out. On that day, there is an old woman who will come and perform those rites. The people from the husband's side must be there to witness what is happening. And once that is done, that same day, she goes to her husband's house with some of these our cultural things must accompany her to her husband's house. So these are part of the things we do, and then we engage in so many of our culture, traditional dancing, partying, and whatever. So those are the things.
What's the bride price like?
The mega. It's not that much, but it depends on the girl and the parent. But we don't collect so much like they collect in other side of the country. Ours is very, it's not high.
Good.
Okay.
Victor, in case you're thinking of a second wife.
Well, I'm not sure I'm thinking about that. Maybe until I see.
Why are you so scared?
Maybe until I see the size of the new minimum wage. But let me ask Alhaji again. I don't know. What's the philosophy behind the culture that allows a Nupe family to give out its first daughter and not train them? Is there anything like that? What's the philosophy behind it?
To give a first daughter?
Yes.
Come again.
To give out your first daughter for training elsewhere apart from your home.
Well, we adopted that scenario from the humbleness and from a belief of assisting a neighbor, a partner, a friend, a relation in taking care of these people who may not be able to complement what is necessary to bring up the child or a daughter.
But why the girl child?
The girl child, most of the time, is they are given out for the reason that they need to start to learn how to live independently of their parental homes. Because when a girl child grows in your house, she has to go for marriage. She has to have a man who could be called a husband. And that must start from somewhere, which is the earnest, which is the principle of us doing that, giving out a girl child for assistance.
All right, let's get to His Royal
I wanted to probe a bit further. Maybe Alhaji Sani will help in this regard. Because I think it's an advantage, actually, if you have a first daughter, for that matter. You have a first daughter who will assist the mother to a certain level. When marriage comes or when education comes and you have to leave the home, that's understandable. But to now deny the parents even that assistance up to the time of marriage, rather getting used to being married from the beginning, I'm not sure how that adds up.
No, with the modern way of doing things now, modernization has eaten into some of those cultures, traditions that you are talking about. But like Honorable has said, one of the reasons is to accustom the girl child with the reality of having to part with her parents at a stage in her life. But another thing is that it's a way of strengthening the relationship between you and perhaps your other extended families, relations. That's why it's not only a girl child per se, even male child will do that. Yes, can be.
All right. I don't know if His Royal Highness is still with us. If he's still with us, I'd like him to speak about some culture and tradition. I know that there's a certain group of people who are trying to erode certain culture and tradition. Like you said, modernity, I know religion and all of that. Speak to us about certain culture and tradition of the Nupe people that you're trying to do away with that used to happen in the past. Just educate us a bit, if you have any.
Before I respond to that, I wanted to make a clarification, which the last speaker has just done. We don't have a culture of giving away first daughters. I am not aware of that culture. But we have a culture of giving our children to relatives, you understand, for upbringing, and it is basically to strengthen the bond of relationship among families. If I have a friend I'm very close to today, it is not out of place for me to send any brought up among his children in the traditional Nupe setting. But it is more common out girls than boys. But across Nupe, you find situations where children have gone to be brought up in the house of relatives or very close their parents. It's simply to further the bond of relationship. It's not out of because that child is a burden to the parents. No, certainly not. It's simply to strengthen the bond. And we are very communal in Lupe land. Gimbia said something that you would hardly find begging. Begging is a taboo in Nupe land. If a child goes out to beg, that family is in trouble because it is expected that there has to be strong family bonds. So when children are brought into the world, for example, and their parents are having challenges taking care of those children, it's very easy for you to see within the family a brother or an aunt taking one of the child just to ensure that that child is properly brought up. But it's not like a culture of giving. No, it's a culture of trying to strengthen relationship and the bonds of our people. So if in the family somebody is not strong, the strong ones support him by taking on their children, try to give them training, try to give them education. And that is why you will see that begging is not a norm at all in Nupe land. So I want us to correct that perception.
All right. Thank you very much, Your Highness, the Emir of Lafyagi. Let me come back to the studio. Perhaps ask Hajia Fati, do you still do what we call the Efidan in Nupe? I don't know if I got that right, but what we call the sacrification for the purpose of identification. What are the health benefits of it? I hear there are some.
I don't understand, sorry. What kind of...
Do you get that?
What was it?
The procedure of identification, you call it the Efidan or something?
Okay,
like
Efidan.
Yeah, that's Max.
I hear it has health benefits. in Nupe culture.
Is that common?
No, it's no longer common.
Yeah.
So that's
but why did you do away with it? If it has health benefits, why did you do away with it?
And that's what I was trying to ask Emia about what you're trying to do away with at the moment.
Yes, superstitious belief. But with the current modernization, we have done away with so many things.
Besides that, what else are you doing?
I can see none of you has any tribal mind.
No, that's why I said it's going away. And the reasons are that, in the olden days, perhaps because of wars and other, disasters or things like that. Yeah, you want your person to be identified wherever the person goes. May be. That's one thing you can't take away. Once you give the person marks, you can't take away. And so it's identity, a way of preserving your identity. Today you don't need to do that. The technology has taken care of all that.
Besides that, what else are you trying to do away with?
Do away with it?
Yes, in your culture. What are the things that used to be practiced in your culture in the past that you have tried to modernize, or you are completely doing away with?
You don't take any deliberate efforts at doing away with your culture. But what happens is that, like we said, there's what we call triple heritage, isn't it? You have the Islamic influence, you have the modern influence in your life, and you have your own culture. And like you agree with me, the modern influence and the religious influence is growing by the day. So there are those things that automatically, become assimilated. It isn't that you want to do away with it, because like the essence of Nupe Day itself is to preserve, those cultures. It's not to do away with it. To see how we can now bring them into harmony with the modern.
But for some things that are negative, for example, there are some cultures where twins are forbidden, in the past, and these days they've come to understand that, oh no, you don't have to kill.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So
religion, in our own particular case, is because, the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he came, those are one of the things that he fought against. Burying, in fact, not forbidden. In the Middle East, that's Saudi Arabia, in Mecca in particular, they used to bury, their daughters, and then twins, things like that. So, like I said, Islamic influence, the religious influence, even in Christianity and things like that. There are things that you used to do, which is a way of communicating with your God. That's how they understood it that time. But now, these influences of modernization, of religion, has changed the perspectives, and the people are now, moving towards those modern ways of doing things, and you still find people that are attached to those things that you think are negative because they believe in them, But on the whole, that's in the majority. A lot of people are going with the trend of modernization because it's so strong, you can't resist it. So I can't think of any of our culture, or any tradition or things that we deliberately say we are going to do away with, to my knowledge.
How does an average Nupe man relax?
How he relaxes?
Yes.
Oh, a lot.
So imagine yourself, you're back home in your village. What happens? How do people of your age grade, how do you unwind?
Well, you obviously, even with the intrusion of this, like I said, this advancement, technological advancement, things moving you away from, because today you rely more on your handset, to talk and then have video communications and things like that. But even at that, in the villages, people come together under the tree, they discuss things, they feel, eat together and things. In fact, in some places, in the evenings, you find people, going to their colleagues' house, to eat. Not because they cannot have food in their houses, but it has become a tradition. Once it is in the evening, somebody will leave his house and come to your house, and then to eat. and then you chat.
Are you thinking something?
I need to visit that village.
Yes. No, it's happening. But these intrusive things, I'm talking about these gadgets and what have you, taking away some of those things. You know.
What about music and dance? Has that advanced?
Yeah, it has advanced a lot. It has advanced a lot. You know, our artists today, they are international. You know, because I mean, when you listen to Mr. Nupe's song, there's no way you won't be moved. You know, I see even politicians, most of them are using Nupe songs, you know, to promote their campaigns and things. No, they are not even Nupes. You know, you can talk of the first line politicians and things like that. You know, they are using Nupe music to promote their campaigns and things like that. So Nupe has come to be something that, from the perspective of, like you said, entertainment. You know, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about gastronomy, I'm talking about our arts, you know, our artifacts, you know, it will become more recognized internationally, believe me. You know, if you see, I know when I was young, white men used to come to Nupe land simply because they want to see those brass works, those, you know, metal, you know, people that are producing hoes and masses and things like that. You know, because apart from the Nupe land, you hardly see it in other places. You know, it's just like in Kano. You know, you have this dye trade, which is common there. But in Nupe land, it is the brass work and aluminium works and things like that you find. In fact, it's like a tradition. You know, the families, they are taking it as the identity. In fact, they even have titles that you give to them if you are from that family. So it's so important. I'm talking about trade. It's so important to us. That's why the Emir of Lafayette was saying that we are industrious people. Our women are also industrious. You know, and we are so blessed, like he says. You know, if you talk about everything that whatever you need really to grow, not only domestic economy, but international, the national economy of this country, believe you me, is domiciled in Nupe land. You know, she mentioned Barrow Port. We mentioned dams. Most of the dams you find in this country that we're exporting, you know, are from Nupe land. You know, Jebba Dam, Shiroro Dam. I'm sorry, Shiroro is you know, Kainji Dam. You know, Zengeru Dam. All those things are in Nupe land. You talk about agriculture. You know, we used to feed about 80% of Nigeria was rice that was produced locally. 80% of it was from Nupe land. It used to be from Nupe land. So you can. That's why I was telling you that the National Research Institute Center. You say it was. It's established in Badegi. You know, it's a very big institute. But the reason why it's there is because that's where you find cereal. You know, products and things like that. That's why the Emir was saying that what we need is for the government, both the subnational government and national government, to come together and see how you can take advantage of that blessed, you know, land that you have.
You've talked to us about food. You know, I talked about how the average Nupe man relaxes, and you're talking about going to visit friends and family and, you know, eating with them in the evening. You've not mentioned the kind of drink they drink. If you're is there a local traditional kind of drink? Some people, they will say palm wine. Some people it's the Zobo drink. What's the traditional?
Like I said, because of the religious influence, you know, the issue of drinking is not is going away.
It's no longer pronounced.
Yes, no. You know, people don't celebrate it anymore like used to.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, but Alhaji, just as we gradually round off. It's Nupe Day.
Yes.
What's the lineup of activities? Where do you go from here?
It's a Nupe Day, and we are doing this to reinforce our entity, which is Nupe, and our tradition and culture to outsiders like you, who never knew how we came to this level. At the same time, like the Emir of Lafayette put it, to bring in more interested people to come and galvanize the industrial aspect of what we have in Nupe.
Yeah, and then where we go from here, actually, on Friday, you know, Nupe are going to come together to pray.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
In Abuja?
Then on Sundays too. No, everywhere.
Oh, everywhere they are.
Yes,
found.
yeah, they are. Yes, there's a special prayer that will be said that day, and also in the churches on Sunday. That is happening. And normally, Etsu Nupe and other Etsus, they bring people together, to mark this day, like Wakina Agaye was saying. We normally have an elaborate ceremony, like the one you saw when you saw your clip, something elaborate ceremony. But like he says, because of the economy and security challenges and the way things are, we have this year on. We said, well, let it be prayers, let it be this conversation that we're having now, and let the emirs on their own, in their own localities, bring people together to discuss, their common problems.
So no cultural
and then maybe
displays.
next year. No, there will. Well, when you say emir, that's culture itself. So there will be displays, and the emir may decide to have an evening with some dramas and singers and things like that, just to mark the day. That is not. That may happen. It will happen in some places, okay. as far as Kogi and things like that. So, but next year, you wait for it. You'll see a very big, ceremony. Yes, as usual.
All right, let's quickly make that shuttle to the Emir of Lafia-Gi. Could you give us a sense, since you are not here in Abuja, how would you be commemorating today's Nupe Day?
Well, for me and my colleagues in Saragi, Tsonga, Pagi, Lokoja, Agaye, Lapai, Bida, for us, Nupe Day is about preserving our history, preserving our values, and then preserving our culture. And to mark this day, we all sit down and we bring out not only the things that are good for us that we need to preserve, but also where we have challenges, we discuss and engage. We are very passionate about our people, and everything we do day and night is how to better the lot of our people, how to continue to ensure. We spoke about security. Alhamdulillah, in Nupe land, I think we have every time the Almighty. We are very peaceful people, and we don't have major security challenges across Nupe land. In terms of agriculture, we are all busy now. Our farmers are back to the farm, trying to encourage them, and also ensuring that they produce also as much food crops as possible to fight the food crisis that we have today. So it's about celebrating the things that we are doing well. It's about preserving our history. It's about talking about solutions to our problems. And that is, I'm sure colleagues will be talking about to celebrate Nupe Day this year.
Thank you so much, His Royal Highness Alhaji Mohammed Kudu Kawu, the Emir of Lafia-Gi. Long live the Nupe people, and of course Nupe land will be greater as the day goes by. Congratulations on your day. We thank you so much for joining us for the conversation on Good Morning Nigeria. We also appreciate Alhaji Yusuf Yabagi Sani, the Jakada Nupe and former chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, looking forward to visit you in your village so that I can be well fed. Also, Honorable Fatih Abubakar Gibia Badegi, thank you so much for joining us for the conversation. We hope that you mobilize more women, in your community so that, they can begin to take the lead in every space they find themselves. Thank you so much. And of course, Honorable Baba Shehu Agaye, the Wakili Agaye, thank you so much for joining us for the conversation. And of course, looking forward to a greater Nupe, prosperity, peace, and all the things that you wish yourselves. Thank you so much. So that's Good Morning Nigeria this Wednesday. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Yenri John. Remain tuned to the NTA.
Right. I actually forgot to ask Alhaji Yabagi Sani what Jakada Nupe means. I hope he will tell me after the program. But I am Victor Azo. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow.